All right, here we are at the Crystal Clear Point Studios. That didn't turn the share screen off. There it did. Now it did. Yay! We're never going on vacation again because I have forgotten everything about how to do this. Oh my God, it's terrible. But here we are. Miles of Smiles Events is our sponsor, and we're talking again. Watch out with Lou Morris and Dr. Matthew Pierce and myself, Deborah Colleen Rose. And we took a short break. We all needed it. We're old and cranky. So, did y'all do anything fun or interesting while we were off for a while?
Uh, no.
Honestly, I had some stuff that I needed to take care of, as far as my health, but it was nice. It was good to just be able to relax, for a little bit and take a breath. So that's all I did.
Well, I took a break. I took a trip with my granddaughter, and then I worked my fanny off for 2 weeks. So I had a wide variety of stuff. But I'm glad to be back. And I almost came back and did a show last week by myself, just because I was like, but I was too tired, so I didn't. So I'm glad to be here. What about you, Lulu?
I just worked on things at the apothecary, and that's about it.
Well, last week, Lou, Ann, and I did work in downtown Garland Square for their 4th of July
Oh,
goober
yeah.
gobber. You know, oh my God, was it hot? It was so hot. We were both inside, but we were dying. It was so, so hot. But and that's something we should tell everybody. We need to mention this more often. Once a month, the first Thursday, is it the first Thursday, honey?
Yes.
First Thursday of each month, Luann is at the Intrinsic Barbecue Restaurant and Brewery in downtown Garland on the square doing readings. And boy, what a deal. You can get down there, you can see her, you can get a meal, you can get a beer, you can get some homemade root beer or cream
Yeah.
soda, get a reading, you know,
Yeah.
and
I do 20-minute readings there.
yeah,
Nice.
so that's a deal. It is a deal. Trust me. So anyway, we're going to talk about something today that I want to talk about. I didn't even give them a choice. I was like ballsy boss last night. This is what we're talking about. Usually I say, what do y'all want to talk about? And usually I'll go, okay. And sometimes I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about that. And then they'll come up with something else. And then we never talk about anything for very long. And it just kind of morphs, like the Mad Hatter. I don't know. But we're going to talk about what superpower would you want if you were a superhero? Did y'all think about it? Did you put
I
any thought
did.
in? All right.
I
What
did
do you
think
want to
about
be?
it.
What do you
You
want?
know, Actually, how I kind of went about this is like, what superpower would I not want? Um,
Double negative. Double negative.
yeah. What do I not want? And honestly, I think a lot of people would say probably like reading minds would be one that they chose. I don't want to know what's in your head. I'm sorry. I don't want to know what's in your head. The only way
Mhm.
that I would take a superpower that was similar to that is to know if you're lying. That was it. I don't want to know what's in your head, but if you're lying, I would want to know that. So that would be like kind of how I would put a limitation on it. Um, and I thought about all the other ones, is like, we have invisibility, and we have, super strength, and we have flight, and we have this, and we have that. Um, I would like to talk to animals.
Oh, good Lord. I don't like talking to people. Shit. How
I'd like to talk to
The
animals.
animals are much better.
do you know? How do you know they don't sit around all day long just saying, these people are the dumbest asses I have ever seen in my
Well,
life?
They probably do, but wouldn't that be an interesting like
No,
conversation?
no, I don't want to hear that crap.
Well, honestly, okay, so I'm gonna just put this out there because one of the things you do is rockhound readings. Okay, what if you could actually ask the dog, well, what do you think about your master, what the person that's caring for you?
Well, okay. God, why do you always pin my ass on the wall? So here's the thing. I do have this connection with animals. I have all my life. And to support what I'm saying, I had an encounter with a wolf in the wild when I was like 3 or 4. And my dad came up on us and was about to shoot it because he was terrified. And then he just watching the whole presence because that wolf got down and is like eyeball to eyeball with me, and we just got forehead to forehead. Now, I don't know what they think necessarily, but I know what they think. You know what I'm saying? I know if they're happy, I get little visuals, things like that. And that wolf, I guess, kind of picked up on the fact that my father was like, whatever state he was in. And it just turned around and it plodded off, you know? And I just always, I had that with the horses that I used to ride. And so, like, I used to ride a pony named Pot Liquor, and he was a great little pony. But when he got tired of your ass, he would go straight to the pond and dump your ass in the
Mhm.
pond, which is very kind if you think about it. Very kind because he not bucking you off into the grass or on the rocks or, you know,
Which is
because
a
this
lot.
is all brush out there and everything, you know. So if you fell out there, you're going to get scratched up. He'd take you out to the pond, dump you off. So I got to when I knew when that was going to happen as well. I just got an instinct. But no, I don't want to. I want to believe that when my dog looks at me with those big, beautiful eyes, she's going, I just love your ass. You're so cute. And I won't know if she's thinking anything differently. I just don't.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of animals that I would love to say, what's going on? You know, how are you feeling? Or, you know, what's happening? I mean, in the circles that I run around in, y'all know this, that there's a lot of animal communicators out there. And not that I have anything against animal communicators, I do have something against the readers and those people that say they like want to like communicate with those animals. And like they will only say, "Oh, he's holding on for you. He wants to make sure that he's around for you, and he's a good fighter, and he's gonna fight and everything else like that." And the next day, the animal dies.
Well, that's not in their nature to do that. That's the other thing. And you bring out a wonderful point. People try to humanize animals
Mhm.
and give them the same thought processes we have and the same ideology, and they don't. I'm sorry. That's why they're animals. They're not less than, they're just different. Don't you
But
want to
like I
just
said,
people the
if
nose
I
with
could understand animals, like they would have that language, they would have that capability of telling me, you know. And I honestly do think that animals have a sense of, you know, themselves. I do.
yeah.
I mean, with all the dogs that I've had and, you know, the animals that I've experienced all the way up through my life, they've always had a personality. I mean, they always knew kind of what was expected of them. I can tell you, like Sandy was my Shetland pony, okay, and she loved my father. She absolutely loved my father. And so I mean, it was to the point where if we were having a picnic and everybody was around and so on and so forth, he'd go up and open the gate up, and Sandy would just kind of go around just telling everybody hi. When my dad would go like that, she'd come running to him, and she would take a kid from the picnic, put it on Sandy, and Sandy would just take and just would walk around with the kid. Okay, and when she was finished, she found my dad and let him take off the kid.
That's cool.
Okay,
Now,
so
on the other side of that coin, though, I will go here with you. If you want to read their minds, I want to be able to direct them. Like,
hmm,
okay, get the whole pack together. We're going to take their throat out. You know, that type of thing. That would be
okay,
cool.
Deborah,
Okay.
that
We
went
get the
dark
whole
really quick.
herd together and we're going after them. Wild Mustangs to the rescue.
Well, I worked with Carrie Glazer, and I think she's a good animal communicator.
Oh yeah, I mean there are people that are genuine out there.
Mhm.
Okay,
I didn't know Carrie did
um,
that.
Yeah,
but
I knew she was good at seeing totem animals because we've had many
yeah, she does
conversations,
that too.
you know, but I did not know that she actually communicated with
Mhm.
animals. That's
When
neat.
we were at Shambhala, she did that. Uh, in the spring, she goes outside when it's not too hot, not too cold, and invites people to bring their pets.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know
well,
she did.
let me ask you this because I mean since we're on the topic, um, uh, don't you think as kind of intuitives that we pick up on those types of things? Like I do believe that animals give off an energy. I mean that we can pick up on, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like I feel complete and total joy. Other times I feel concern, like I'm not sure what's happening or what's going on.
Mhm.
But I've also felt that, that when I've seen a couple different dogs, that when they come up and they look at me, it's like I want to tell you something, but I don't know how to say it. And so I
Mhm.
think as intuitives, we have that sense, not necessarily talking with animals, but sensing them.
Yeah, I think so
So,
too.
but that's what I think about, animal intuitives. I think that they actually, I mean, they have that ability to do that, but I won't feed someone like a line if, that animal is just not giving me the good vibe. I'm sorry.
Well, I just, I think it would be a cool gift. I just don't know that it would be very satisfying to me to have that gift. Because I do
Well,
pick
that's
up on,
why you didn't choose it.
yeah. Don't be a smart ass to me. Show's over. Bye.
Oh, watch out. There's going to be a rumble.
I'm telling you, I'm wound up today. Don't cross me. No, but no, but it'd be kind of cool if you could call all that, like Tarzan.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love Tarzan. And I don't know if he could like read their thoughts, but boy, he could communicate with them. And they knew exactly when to come running, and they knew exactly which village huts to run over, and which people to pick up and slam on the ground with their trunk and all that stuff. I would dig Tarzan and that loincloth. Ooh.
I'm
Okay.
trying to think of the monkey's name. What was the monkey's name?
Cheetah.
Oh, that's right. It was Cheetah.
She's not a monkey, she's a chimpanzee, and that's not the
Okay,
same thing.
chimpanzee. She's a chimpanzee. Okay. Can you imagine that conversation? How kind of that would go?
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
Jane showed up,
Well, Cheetah was a girl, so Cheetah
I
didn't
know.
care about Jane. So,
Yeah.
She, she was jealous.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I think so.
she was actually. So,
I honestly think that because what's the elephant's name? I can't even. I'm forgetting all of
Timbo.
this.
Timbo.
Uh, was it Simba or Tantor? Tentor,
I think it was Timbo. Timbo.
Timba? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think Timba was gay. I really do. So, I mean,
I
what
don't
would
think
that
animals are
conversation be like?
gay. I don't think animals are gay.
All animals are gay. Look up your
No, it's about
facts.
power. It's not about sex. They hump. Like my female dogs all hump, okay? But they do it as a sign of power.
And I'm talking about like, not necessarily sex, okay? Because you have gay penguins, okay? There are two males or two females that will bond with each other for life,
Well,
okay?
I don't
So,
care.
and it's been well documented inside of the zoological communities that every single species has some sort of gay that happens inside of those circles.
When you think about it, though, it's kind of a practicality thing, if nothing else, because no animal that I know of does well if they're alone. They do better in pairs and groups. So
Oh yeah.
if there's not enough of the opposite sex to go around, it would make sense that they would naturally go into a gay couples counseling set. I don't know. Because that way they're not alone. That makes sense to me.
Mhm.
But
Well,
you
I
know,
mean, if you want to know something about sex, I mean, dolphins are the only animal that has been known to have sex for just pleasure.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if that's true or not, though. I mean, because what about
No, it's
orcas?
true. I mean, they did an exhaustive study, so you can go look it up.
They have had dolphins that have actually tried to rape human
Yeah,
women too.
yeah.
Little shitheads. So we all think that dolphins are like Flipper and these wonderful, magical metaphysics. They're just pervs. They're just effing pervs, is what they
Well,
are.
I mean, yeah.
So, what the hell are we talking about now? Luann, what superpower do you want? I don't want to talk about all these animal sex
Well,
things. God.
I don't know if anybody has this superpower. I the heroes, superheroes, where they just can blink from place to place.
Oh,
Time travel? That would be Doctor Who
time
or
travel or just like being like location, like you're
Location.
here and you're there. Okay.
Yeah. Like if I wanted to go to Kroger, I could just blink over there
Like when
and
you're
go
there.
to Kroger.
well, I'm gonna
That's
go
really
somebody
cool.
Kroger if I can do that. I'm just going to think big, Luann. Think big.
Well, have you ever seen the movie Jumper?
No.
It's
Mm.
exactly that. It's there are people that are born with the ability to just locate themselves, so they can go from here to there, you know. Um, and the one guy uses it for good, then one guy uses it for evil, wants to steal stuff. And like he'll go to the bank and he'll look at the inside of the vault. Okay, so he knows exactly what he's envisioning and where he's going to be going. Okay. And then that evening he jumps into the vault and takes all the money or whatever, you know. So I
Well,
mean, it's a great movie. See if you
Doctor
Jumper,
Strange was the one I was thinking. Doctor Strange can teleport.
yes,
I couldn't remember. I just kept thinking Doctor Who, but it's Doctor
Doctor
Strange.
Strange.
well, I
Yes.
I would like to be able to do that, and reading minds would be nice.
Yeah.
And
But
Nightcrawler can do it too.
I just think that there are times when if I could go to somebody's house to visit with them in the blink of an eye, I certainly would. I'd call ahead first.
I would do more social
I'm
things
going to
because
meet
I
you in three
could
seconds.
leave immediately. I want to go to a lot of places, but I know I don't want to be there more than 30 minutes. So, it just seems kind of rude, but wouldn't it be cool that you go there and then after 30 minutes you could leave and then stay gone for now and then pop in and say, oh, well, it's been touring the house. It's been great. I'm leaving now. And they think you've been there for a couple hours and you've only been there. Now that would be kind of fun. I could dig that. Yeah.
Do that. Do that. I mean, because there are places that I just want to say bye.
Bye bye. Yeah. Here's my face. Here's my butt. Say bye. All right. I
Okay,
would like
so
to
Luann, what would you do with that though? I mean, what would you do with that
I would
superpower?
probably just use it to
go to
visit
Kroger.
friends
She'd go to
because
Go
my
Kroger.
friends
Kroger.
are all over now. You know, what
Well,
did she say?
what about travel? Would you go to like different places that you haven't been able to go before just because you're there and then there?
Yeah, I guess I could.
Most people would say, "Oh, I'd go see a foreign country. I'd go to
Yeah, that's
Paris." I go to Kroger.
I go to Kroger.
Well, actually, I was thinking about it because Kathleen
Kroger
is
Paris.
way north, and
Kroger Paris.
then I have a friend way that way, and
Yeah.
I let
you
them get
know,
their own. Let them do their own visit. Go someplace fun and take a picture and say, "What? Don't you wish you could do this?"
And take a picture. Hi from Paris.
well,
They don't have Kroger here.
now that I'm older and facing my mortality, I'd rather keep up with my friends.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord.
Y'all are
Oh,
being dark today. I don't like this. Y'all are being dark.
who's being
It,
dark?
One woman is calling on animals to attack, and the other one's like, now that I'm facing my mortality,
Well, that seemed
we're
like
all
good.
going to die, okay?
Tell me you've never wanted to ride a herd of hounds and run into the sunset and be the hero. Come on. It's awesome. Or take a whole pride of lions and kill the white safari killers.
I would like to train giraffes to be ninjas.
That would be cool. That would be cool. No, no. I would like to read minds, but I want it to be to where I don't have to be in front of the person to read their mind, that I can just look at a picture of them and and I want to be able to control it really well. So I'm going to pick the subject matter that I want to know about, and then I can glean through all of that crap to about that subject matter so I can know who's a killer, who's not a killer, who's got good intentions, who's just a dumbass and doesn't know how to talk properly, things like that, you know, and then be able to solve crimes with that, be able to prevent crimes, things
So
of
let me
that
let me
nature.
ask you this, Deborah. Taking it one step further, would you want the ability just for like people that are alive, or would you want that like also to like kind of extend to people who have crossed?
Well, let me tell you about that. Let's talk about that, okay? Because we all deal with that on some level. This talking to spirits thing, It does some positive. I get it. It does some, and I've done positive with it. And it's not like I haven't done it. Okay. So I'm not sitting in judgment on anybody. But, I literally told somebody without a body recently, I don't want to talk to you. You had 72 years to get your shit straightened out. And if you didn't do it then, you don't get to do it now because there's no convincing people that this is legit. Okay. And they're going to believe what they want to believe about you. And if they ask me a question, I will answer it. But no, you're not conducting the conversation. You're not directing the conversation. You're not initiating the conversation. Get the fuck out of this room. you know?
Well, I mean, I kind of come at it a little bit differently because I am an evidential medium. Okay. So if spirit comes through to me, you can mess someone up really bad emotionally if you're not talking about the person that they like either want to talk with or the person that shows up. Okay. I mean, and when I say evidential, I mean, I point out very, very specific things to people so they know that they know that they know that they know that they're talking
Right.
to
No,
that
no,
person.
I agree. I agree.
You know,
Absolutely.
and if something just vague is coming through, sorry, next.
No, and I tell them, I said, you don't get to rain on my parade. You don't get to enter
No,
my world. You don't get to, I mean, I wouldn't open the door to a stranger of my house and say,
no.
I need to use your phone. No, give me the number and I'll call if I think it's legitimate. And that's the thing. And to me, God, why do you always make me do this? So So, it talks about discerning spirits in the Bible. That's part of discerning spirits. It's not just about whether they're good or bad or good or evil or how it's about, do they serve a purpose? Is there a point to this?
Mhm.
Is there validity to this? Now, I had a situation where this woman wanted to know if I could talk to spirits. And I said, not here. This is a party. I haven't been hired to do that.
Right.
I have a job to do. And she just looked so terrible. When she walked away, I felt really bad. And then all of a sudden, this voice screams in my ear, go get her. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to go get her. Get out of my face.
It's a party. I'm not going to go get her.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. And then all of a sudden, he shows me himself and he goes, describe this to her. And he gives me a vision. Okay. And so I did. I said, ma'am, come back. I'm just going to tell you what I saw. And then I'm going to tell you it's a very short message. And I told it to her. The physical person I saw that I described, and she pulled a picture out of her wallet, was her son. Her son had just recently committed suicide, which I did not know that. And the message was telling her that there was no guilt on her shoulders and she had been a wonderful mother. And if he had realized what he was doing, it might have been different. I mean, he wasn't saying he had regrets that he killed himself, but he was just saying that he didn't know the impact it was going to have.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, I know I come across as an unbeliever of the supernatural, yet I live in the supernatural. I
Well,
just think that you have to treat it like it's real because it is, and you treat it like it's not a big deal because it's not. It's not magic. It's just another realm. Just like if you go to England and they talk funny over there, and you, or
well,
Well,
whatever.
it doesn't
well, I always
usually.
point out that Jesus was a medium.
Absolutely. Jesus was everything.
Jesus was a medium. I mean, and so people was like, "Oh, talking to spirits, that's wrong." And I was like, "Well, Jesus did it." And they're like, "No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No." He didn't." And I was like, "Do you remember the story of Lazarus?"
But he discerned the spirits too.
But
What were
also,
you
I mean,
fixing
you can
to
point out
say?
the humanity inside of that act that Jesus did with Lazarus because he missed him. He wanted him back.
Well, but also that was his last miracle, and that was the one that set everything in motion for his crucifixion. That's
Okay.
when he proclaimed himself publicly. What were you about to say, Luann?
Oh, I think I was going to say,
Oh,
Sorry, Luann.
uh, spirits don't usually throw me for a loop. They
Mhm.
come and they whisper in my ear. That's how it sounds. And sometimes I'll get pictures. But I was at oh what's that crazy restaurant that we ate at that we also out on Beltline in Addison.
Oh, Magic Time Machine.
oh,
No,
I
next to it.
declare. I
I
declare.
declare.
I declare.
Right,
Oh, okay.
thank you. So I'm at Ada Claire reading, and this young lady sits down, and I start to feel the energy of someone else. And I knew it wasn't a living person. And she started saying, talking to me about her family. And then her dad was right in my face, yelling at me, angry, angry, angry. And it threw me off so bad. I said, "You need to shut up." And, and she went, said, "I'm sorry, but your father's very angry." So I don't usually do that, but it was hard to have that sprung on me.
Mhm.
It's shocking for most people, it is. And it's shocking, I think, when we're getting new in our gifts and things like that. I've had the advantage of knowing what I know, but not accepting it and fighting it. But since I was like 4 years old. So I've had a long time to get used to it, even though it took me forever to get used to it. But it was never shocking. It was just annoying. And I didn't want people to think I was crazy, stuff like that. So and I'm very matter of fact about it because I've had so many years to adjust my mental state to it and everything. But if he'd been yelling at me, I'd tell him to shut the fuck up and get out of there. I don't let anybody yell at me. I don't care if they got a body or not. You're not going to yell at me.
Of
Yeah.
You
course, then
know?
I had to tone it down and I said, "Look, he's angry because he died early." She goes, "Yeah, he was 38 or something." And I said, "He's also angry because you and your siblings have split and gone all over the country." "Yeah, we live in different places." I said, "Well, he wants to task you with putting the family back together, at least, talking and maybe seeing each other once a year or twice a year as a group, because that really upsets him that the family kind of fell apart."
Yeah, but here's my thing. So what? Who says that he's upset that we get to make things better for him? No, he should have made sure his family was intact before he died. He should have made sure that they had good connections as siblings before he gave up his position as patriarch. Fuck him. No, he doesn't get to come
No,
back
no,
and
no, no.
dictate.
Wait a second. I think that you completely misinterpreted how that came through. I'm sorry, because I don't think he was coming through to say, I didn't do this, or I'm not going to take responsibility for it. He was pointing out that the siblings were all over the place. Not that he can do anything about it now. And
He's
if he
angry.
went too early, if he went too early, how could he prepare for that?
That he's
But
angry.
I
I
think he
think
was
that, okay,
angry because
listen,
he
one of
died.
the things that I have known as far as being a medium, okay, is sometimes that overwhelming sense of I need to get this through sometimes is interpreted as anger. And it's not. It's I just need to get this out there to you. You know this message, but you need to hear it again. And so it comes across very strong. Okay. I know other mediums that say, oh, they were angry. I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to the
Mhm.
fact that he was angry. I think that he knew that Luann was there, knew that Luann could hear him and feel him. Okay. And he wanted to get it out as fast as he could because he didn't know how long he was going to have there.
Well,
Well, go ahead.
once I said, "Look, you need to be spreading unconditional love, not hate and anger,"
Mhm.
Right.
and things kind of calmed down.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say. You know, you I was going by what Luann says. I'm using her assessment because I wasn't there. But the thing about it is that I hear from a lot of people these messages where they get from the other side and they're condemning and finger pointing. That's not our job to
No.
deliver messages like that. I think that's completely a breach of ethics and morality. Because if that person's going to walk away from my table or my presence feeling like they have failed someone who has already passed, what is the point of that? That,
Yeah.
you know, and so,
Well,
and
I'm just going to say that my agreement with Spirit is that if they don't not walk away from the table edified, I don't want to hear from you.
exactly, exactly. We talk about from a marketing standpoint that we're going to encourage, uplift, and empower. But
Yeah.
I think that is true of whether it's entertainment value,
Yeah.
or whether it's a reading, personal reading, whether it be coaching, anything that we do should be encouraging, empowering, and uplifting. And because don't we all have enough fucking misery in this
Yeah.
life?
Yep.
I know I do. Do you?
Immediately.
Do you? Do you? I know I do. So what's the
We
point?
do, but honestly, I mean, from a coaching perspective too, I mean, using your intuition, if you know that something's up, and you kind of like want to make sure that it gets handled or managed inside of your sessions, and it might not be like very positive because a person might be stuck in a reassuring belief that they have, or like, I'm not worthy, I'm not, this. It's like, how does that come up? Because that could be really taken negatively if you tell a person that, and they're like,
Well, but that's an internal look instead of bringing external information from another
yeah,
source in. So
absolutely.
making them look internal, that's my job, is to make people look internally,
Mhm.
to look at the answers that they already have, evaluate the tools that they have, figure out what they don't have so they can get it, so they can move on. And all of my clients for years, the big thing is that my slogan was, I'm calling bullshit on that. I don't let them lie to themselves, you know? And when they say, well, I did my best, I'm like, I'm calling bullshit on that. Really? Do you want to look me in the eye and really say that again now and say it with conviction? No. They know they're lying to themselves, and I want them to know I know that they're lying. It doesn't matter that they lied to me. I go home and sleep. They're the ones in pain. So it's like pulling a splinter out or draining an abscess. Yeah, it's going to hurt, but you got to get the poison out. So I don't have a problem doing that from an internal basis. Is that external stimuli, you know, and those are two different issues. And I was going to make a point, and I don't know where it was. It's somewhere on top of my head. So,
Oh,
Well, I can only speak from my experiences. Okay. I've had very positive experiences, like kind of exercising that, mediumship in the arenas that I have. I mean, I had such a rewarding experience yesterday, just yesterday, that, I mean, it left me in tears. I mean, it was so like, it was just, I don't know. I could just feel the love, you know? So, I mean, I have wonderful experiences. I have other experiences that I kind of had to say tough things. I mean, I helped a local police department figure out a murder. Okay.
mhm.
When a whole family came to me and were looking for answers, they're saying the police are not doing anything about this. And they're like, here, help us out. And I was able to help them out. But I had to say some things that, like, where the police are looking isn't where they should be looking.
Yeah. I've had that
So,
experience too, and I've decided to walk away from those.
mm,
I had to come to a place where like I do that in my private investigation business. I don't want to do that in my spiritual business. And
okay.
and so I quit taking cold cases and things like that because that was not what I wanted to use my gifts for. But it's needed. And I know a lot of people that do that. But I just hope that, and I know you do. I know you do, but there are other people I know that do things. I just hope they do it with integrity and do it with
Mm.
grace and do it with dignity. I know I've been acting very indignified, but I can be dignified. I can do
well,
what's called, you know.
you need to be careful. I need to be careful. I was lazy that day, I guess, because I usually send out a protective bubble for myself and around my table, and he just barreled right in, and that's what upset me.
Well, you get into a zone, and sometimes you're just more open than you realize. I had
Yeah.
that happen at several parties and things. Like I had a guy show up in a wedding veil. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And this couple sat down, and I was literally carrying on a conversation, and I didn't realize I was talking out loud because I mean he wasn't threatening or anything, but it was just so bizarre. And he's sitting up close to me, and he's all lovey-dovey in a really sweet way, not a pervy way. And I'm like, just a minute. And the one goes, I really want to know what you're seeing. So I told her, and I said, and I can't really see his face, but he's got a big nose and he's got a veil on and he's got this really weird laugh. And I kind of mimicked the laugh. And she goes, oh my God, that's my brother. And he threw the veil up when she said that. And he goes, surprise. And so I was able to see his face better. And I described his face. And she goes, yes, that's my brother. And I said, so, okay. And so before she could say anything, I said, he died on the day you got married, didn't he? And she said, yeah. And he says, He says, don't let that mar your wedding day and just use it as a day to celebrate his life and that you have used it to continue on in your own life and make it special. Well, now I got a whole table full of people weeping. I'm like, you
Yes.
people have to quit. It's a party. You have to quit. No weeping. Take it to the bathroom. Get out of here. you know. So I mean, weird shit happens. It just does. And you have to just be on your toes and know how to handle it and or make the best out of it you can because it's like to me, dealing with the spiritual realm is like trying to handle a room full of toddlers.
Yeah, kind of.
You never know what they're going to pull. You just don't, you know? So anyway, I want to go back to my superpower. I want to read minds.
Okay.
Okay.
But you want to read minds on with your rules. You don't want to just have to read everybody that passes by.
No, I don't want it to be like a radio station where things are just blurting. I want to be able to filter it. I want to be able to control it. I want to be able to control it so well that I can actually look at someone's picture and read their mind across the world. I don't have to be in their
Wow.
presence. Okay. So I want to be like the ultimate in energy reader.
Hmm.
That's what I want. If I could do that, I can do just about anything else. I can hire a bodyguard. I can rent a jet, things like that. That's what I want.
Okay, we've all said that, so I guess it's time to go.
I no. Maybe we shouldn't take a break. Maybe taking a vacation is bad for us.
Maybe it's bad.
We lost our momentum.
I think we lost momentum. I mean, I think that we're just reacting to each other like individually. I
Yeah.
mean, what I could ask you a question. I mean, to kind of further the discussion, what do you think the top 10, like, or top five superpowers would be that people would ask for?
I think
Um,
some people would want to crawl up a
invisible.
wall.
People that say they want to be invisible freak me out because I think they're pervs. That means they want to go hang out in people's bathrooms and showers.
So do you want to know the one, two, three,
Are you looking it
four?
up?
Yeah, I've looked it up. I've looked it up.
What, you prepared for today?
So number one, the people would want as a superpower is teleportation. So number one, that's number one. Number two, super speed.
Super
They would like to
speed.
go really, really fast.
Yeah, but you're
Um,
asking him to do the running. Why wouldn't you want to just teleport instead of have to do the actual running?
well, that's why
Wouldn't that
teleport is number
be awesome?
one and speed is number two, Deborah.
I don't understand. That's dumb.
Well, this isn't in like any order. I'm just saying that this is reported like across the web. People have said these are like the number one thing that I would people usually say that they want. Okay. So super speed and super speed that isn't necessarily running. It's maybe they're thinking at super speed, or maybe they do a task in super speed. I mean, who knows? Okay. Telekinesis is another one.
Why?
Invisibility. I'm sorry.
Why? What would they do with it? Does it say?
No, it doesn't. This
Telekinesis.
is a top 10 or a top 10 list of across the web what people think the most super or most powerful superpower is and why they would choose, not why they would choose it, but they just would choose it. So, I mean, I have a list of 10. So it doesn't have any other information other than here's the 10 that they've surveyed and this is what they got.
Okay, well, just read the list. I'm going to be quiet now.
So after telekinesis, invisibility.
Birds.
Okay. I mean, I kind of agree with you, Deborah, that I mean, a person with invisibility powers, that's kind of perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, they just
That's
want to, they're being nosy, wanting to go where they're not supposed to be.
Mhm. Shape shifting.
Oh, that'd be my second choice. Oh my God, that would be so cool. I want to be a werewolf.
Yeah, so that's number five. Telepathy.
Telepathy.
Yep. The next one after telepathy is time manipulation. They can control time.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be nice.
The next one right after that is time travel, that they could like go back in
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Um, and believe it or not, kind of like coming out in the middle of this list is flight.
Like Superman or
Yeah. Yeah.
huh?
So that's one, two, three, four,
Yeah,
five,
but if
six.
you're going to have flight, look, here's the deal. You're going to have to always be dressed warmly or going to
Mhm.
have to be impervious to weather and heat and cold because you're going to get up there and fly and you're going to freeze your ass off or it's going to be really hot, you know?
So this is interesting, and I think this will actually spur some conversation because do you know what number 10 is?
Uh,
Healing, the ability to heal or to be healed.
Oh, I like that.
But that, I mean, that's like the top 10. I
I mean,
mean,
I just feel
there's other things
I
on
was
here.
thinking that.
Yeah.
I
Well,
see
if
about,
I can find the right herb, I can heal you.
Yeah.
but if I can read people's minds, I'm going to prevent that terroristic bomb from going off and they don't have to be healed. I've already saved them from being healed.
Well, I kind of find it interesting that, I mean, that they even define it as the ability to heal and the
Yeah.
ability to, like, for them to be healed and for them to actually heal someone else.
Mhm.
Like they make a distinction between the two.
Well, if you're a
So
shapeshifter, you automatically heal when you shape shift. So that's built in
how do you know that?
because it's in
Because
all
that's
the
what
good
all the books say.
it's in all the
Because
good
that's what all
books
the
that I
books say.
read. And
Well,
Lon
Dracula
Chaney,
didn't actually drink blood
no, they bathed in it.
if they bathed in it,
Yeah, yeah.
which I think was kind of gross. But anyway, to
I
each their
get
own.
the only thing grosser than bathing in blood is bathing in milk. The idea of sitting in a tub full of milk and because milk sours and so then you got to rinse it. Oh, ugh, you know.
Okay,
Well,
so let me ask you about that because I why why milk? Why bathe in milk?
They used to think
And
it
like,
would whiten your skin, either milk or buttermilk, and they used to think that it would refresh the skin and make you look younger. It would, when white skin was really the ultimate, sign of beauty and wealth, and it would fade freckles and whiten the skin and things like that.
hmm,
So all good
I'm gonna have
Southern
to read
women.
up on that because I've never heard of that before.
oh yeah, actually, milk is really good for your skin. But
Yeah.
I'm with Deborah. You can only, if you're going to fill the bathtub, you get in, you take a bath, you get out, then you have to drain it. I mean, it can't stick around.
Well, if you look at all the beauty bath products back in the 50s and 60s, there was always milk bath or, honey and milk, things like that. So,
Or
yeah,
horse semen.
no, they didn't sell that at Walgreens. So you could buy that at Piggly Wiggly. The
You said Piggly Wiggly. I used to shop at Piggly Wiggly, so I mean,
I
I
love
just
Piggly
always
Wiggly.
chuckle.
And a cute little curly tail, Piggly
It's really
Wiggly.
cute. Yeah.
Scott and I went to a ramen noodle place just because I wanted to try the fried pig's ears. I don't, they weren't bad. They just weren't, they were too chewy. They were way
Okay,
chewy.
so you were talking about pigs. Okay, I have to tell you the story. Okay, there was one night that I got really inebriated. Let's just put it that way.
Drunk, shit-faced
Um,
drunk.
oh my God, I was more than shit-faced drunk. Um, and I told my friend, who just happens to be ethnically Mexican, I was like, I want authentic Mexican food. So you have
Oh,
to take me to get authentic Mexican food. Okay. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, I want authentic Mexican food. Okay. And he goes, okay. So we went and oh my gosh, I had some of the best tasting food that night. I was just like, I was in heaven. I was just like that. So get home, of course I'm taking up and get up in the morning. I'm very fortunate. I don't have hangovers, which is really weird. But
yeah.
we got up and we were talking about it. And I was like, hey, where did you take me last night? And he's like, he said the name of the place. And I was like, what did I have? And he
Hmm?
goes, you don't want to know. I was
Ah,
like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I said, because I remember these onion rings. that just had the absolute best taste. And they were crunchy, they were seasoned perfectly, and blah 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 blah. And he goes, those weren't onion rings.
Nope.
And I went, I can remember that they were shaped like an O. And he goes, well, intestines are sometimes round.
Sliced thinly.
And I was like, what did I eat? And he goes, well, he goes, the first like 1.5 feet of a pig from the
Mhm.
outside in,
And start at the
that
anus and work your way back.
instantly my stomach just went, and I was like, I don't want to know anything else that I ate. I don't want to know anything else that I ate. He goes, that's probably a good thing.
Well,
I was
have you ever noticed that when you go to certain Mexican food restaurants, they smell a little off? Like maybe they had a bathroom issue back up or something.
Yeah.
That's because they're washing the intestines out and getting all the shit out.
yeah.
So it's usually a good sign that the food will be decent because they're getting it out. What's horrible is if it's not washed properly, then you got a problem.
I would never try menudo. That's just one thing that I would not try.
Yeah. And isn't it interesting though that there's always a boy band named Menudo?
I know.
I'm like, what is there's an implication there, but I'm not quite getting it.
Um,
So I'm not even going to go there. I'm sure I will say something grossly wrong if I do, so I won't go there.
well, no, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
I
I
was
went over
going to
you
say,
again.
I would always use my superpowers for good. I just totally ignored your eating things, but not everyone would.
Yeah, I think I would be too. I mean, I would use mine for good. You know, I wouldn't try to like be the gossip hound. Literally. And try to find out. Oh, well, tell me what's going on. Or tell me the gossip. What I wouldn't do that. I would have to have a very specific purpose for that. So.
See, I don't have to ask him anything, but there's a series. I'll just know. I'll just tune in. I don't have to ask him anything. But there, oh my God, you made me think of this. There's a series on Netflix. I have not seen it, but I read about it and I've heard some people talk about it. It's called The Boys, and it's
Mhm.
about superheroes who have gone bad. Okay, they've gone bad, and
Well, let
of
me say,
this,
okay, let me tell you the premise of this whole thing, okay?
oh, you've watched
Because
it.
the boy, yes, I'm a avid fan of this.
So
Not
is my
only not
son.
only the television show, but the comic, okay? Both. They did a horrible job portraying the comic inside of the show, okay? But think about it as like a world that like people with superpowers, okay, that were given their superpowers have now been marketized, okay? And so you have a big marketing firm that is controlling all the superheroes, okay? And some of the superheroes get so fed up with it, okay, and are so deranged that they start overthrowing and just doing anything they like. And it's not for ratings anymore. It's not for like being good anymore. It's just that there's one in particular that controls everybody else and intimidates them. And
Well, I haven't
so they got,
watched it yet, so don't tell us anything else because I may
I'm
watch
not
it.
gonna tell you anything else, but I mean, when you start watching it, I mean, after like the third episode, you'll be going, "Oh my God, no, no, no!"
Yeah, but
You're gonna,
here's where I was going with this. I read this yesterday. The show has been banned, or at least one of part of it has in India. And
hmm?
here's why. Because one of the superpowers is he can clone himself. One of the
Hmm.
guys can clone himself, and he cloned himself twice and is having a three-way with himself. I'm like, what the and so I'm assuming that I guess it got graphic or something.
The whole show is graphic.
Oh,
The whole
well,
show is graphic.
well, then I've got to watch it. Jeez.
Oh, I mean, uh,
Oh
yeah, the
Lord.
whole show is graphic.
But I was just like, why? What now? So now that's what made me think I wanted to be able to read minds because I'd really like to know what's in his mind that would make him want to do that. Is he so in love with himself that he just wants to make love to himself, or does he
Well,
want to see what it feels like to be loved by him? I mean, I just want to know now. I want to know what would possess him to do that.
I think one of the most interesting characters, and I'm not going to give away anything, just kind of came onto the scene, and she's noted as the smartest woman in the world. Okay,
Oh, they found me. Oh, good.
she just knows stuff. Okay, but the problem is she can't shut it off.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Okay, so we come to find out that she lobotomizes herself, and that gives her about 20 minutes of relief so she can just be normal.
Good God. Good
It grows
God.
back or what?
Yeah, it goes back. It goes back. And she goes back to knowing everything.
Oh my God. If you had a man that had that capability and it grew back, you could make some money on the dark web.
Well, some of the abilities that they bring forward in this show, I'm like,
Oh my God. We have really gone to the dark side today, haven't we?
well, you started it.
I did. I have found that by doing that, it lets me go easily back into the light, you know? And
Well, I mean, if you can see the dark in something, you can definitely see the light.
yeah, and how do you know how to combat it and protect the light if you don't know
Right?
what's going to? But I think one of the best compliments someone paid me was they told me one time years ago that they said the best thing about me was is that not only did I have a dark side, because we all do, but I knew what my dark side was. I knew what it could do. I knew it was capable of. And I brought it out. I played with it. I gave it freedom, but I did not let it run me. And so it was a part of me. It was not in charge of me, which is what so many people fight against, having their dark side run them. And I've always embraced that description. I think it's apropos. So
But I think we're still on topic because I mean, it was Luann that brought up, using it for good or for evil. I think that if you had a superpower, what would you do with it? Would you be a villain or would you be a hero?
well, and we're so fascinated by the dark side. I mean, even like think about some of the
Mhm.
famous radio shows from the early 1900s, like what evil lurks in the hearts of men, the shadow
The
knows.
Shadow. I love that show. I used to have CDs of all those shows. I loved it.
So we're fascinated by it. We are. We really, really are. So, all
Well,
right,
let me ask one more question. One more
go
question.
ahead.
Do you think that there are people in this world that do have some sort of superpower?
Yes. Well, I didn't even think about that. I
Hmm.
do. I do. It kind of goes with what my son and when I were talking about yesterday. My son has a very high IQ. I do too, even though I do a really good job at hiding it. and Joshua, I always have felt like I have struggled to fit in socially, but have been able to figure it out on a level that I'm comfortable with. He struggles sometimes socially, and he was telling me that one of his mentors told him that with his IQ, that the average IQ is 100 for the average person, and that someone with an IQ as high as his talking to a person that has an average IQ of 100 is the equivalent of an average person talking to someone who has mental problems and has a lower IQ, and how it's difficult for them. So it would make sense that he would struggle connecting with people socially many, many more times than he likes to. And I was like, well, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? However, my mind immediately goes from the dark to the light, and it goes, but as we get, if we're smart, we should be able to figure out how to make that work, you
Yeah.
know. But my problem is I don't want to most of the time. I don't care.
I
But
think that we have to have an understanding of the dark to keep it away,
yeah,
to keep ourselves more in the light than the dark.
Well, and if we didn't do that, you and I wouldn't have a job cleaning houses spiritually. That's the first thing. But I do think people have superpowers, and I don't think they're like to the extreme, what we see in comics and things
Sure.
like that. But I think that they walk over the dimensional lines, and those are the people that we think are weird or odd, or they're fascinating, but we can't connect with them, things of that nature. I do.
Well, I
What
honestly
about
think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
what about the people who an accident happens or somebody gets trapped and they actually raise the car up?
Yeah.
Well, they say that's from adrenaline and stuff, but I'm not sure that explains it all. I really
No.
don't. And that could be a superpower. It could be an angel power. It could be supernatural interference. Okay, this sounds crazy, but I have literally seen an 18-wheel truck pass through my vehicle, not in
Mhm.
front of it, pass through my vehicle. I have. I've
Well,
seen things.
I've seen a deer float over my car where it was running in the street.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's not hard to accept that. I believe in a God that makes miracles. He
Mhm.
can raise the dead. So this other stuff is no easy peasy, you know. And it also says that we can do those things ourselves,
Right.
So I would be living out of integrity with my belief system if I said I didn't believe that people were capable of that.
I mean,
No,
if I
I
had to
still
pick someone as a superhero, like my superhero would be Nikola Tesla.
oh,
Really? Why?
I just think that he had a strong grasp on not only this reality, but all the realities that we have access to.
I don't know that much about him, I have to admit. I'll have to look at that.
It's
he was
amazing.
always forward thinking.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, Nikola Tesla would probably be my superhero.
I'll have to research him because I have to be honest, I don't really know that much about him as a person. I don't. I just
Well,
don't.
there's some interesting things that you'll find. Like one is he actually has a tie to Donald Trump.
What?
Who doesn't these days? I mean, let's get honest. Who
No, he has
doesn't?
family ties. He has family ties.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, his relationship with the Trump family began way back.
Just, all right, take 5 minutes and just explain it real quick.
Well, I'm just so it's one of Donald Trump's great uncles was actually the head of security for some government organization. I can't remember what it was. And when Nikola Tesla died, and I might be having to get these facts a little bit wrong, but so don't quote me 100% on this. But you can look it up. I mean, it's all right there in history. But Nikola had like 4 or 5 trunks full of information of all of his research and everything else like that. They can only find two.
So, are you implying that Trump got those and has access to information that we don't have? Is that what you're implying?
His organization, okay, was the person or the people responsible for those trunks, and now they can only find two. So, yeah, I think there is something
Went
there.
somewhere.
They're somewhere.
Okay. So, here's a question y'all can ponder for next week. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. Okay. I personally watched the debates with great interest the last week. I usually I don't give a shit about the debates, but I was very interested this time. Do you think that either either one of the candidates makes sense? Do you think both candidates show signs of cognitive decline? And do you think that the Democrats will eventually pull Biden out? Let's get into some politics. Let's get dangerous, people. Let's get dangerous.
Let's get dangerous.
Yeah.
The older candidate has some cognitive decline, but the younger candidate is just cognitively wrong. He's just twisted up here.
All right. We'll bring some information to support that opinion, and everybody do some thoughts, and bring some information to the table because frankly, the only reason I want to do this is just because I want to have an intelligent conversation about this crap. I'm sick of what's on Rumble. I'm sick of what's YouTube. I'm sick of what's in the news. I'm sick of what's on Facebook. And I would like to just see someone say, here's the pros, here are the cons. I personally don't want either one of them to be president. So I feel like I come to the table with an open mind, an open heart, and a fearful thought. So, because I don't think either one of them is going to be great. So, let's get into it a little bit. See what comes out of it. Okay.
Sounds good.
All
Let's
right.
go dangerous.
Let's go dangerous. Let's go dangerous. Let's go topless.
I mean, I usually don't talk about politics, okay?
Yeah, I don't either.
And I probably would approach this topic a little differently and not like saying, like, trying to pit two people against each other. I probably would looking at that because there are some things that the Republican Party does great, okay? And the reason why I say great, okay, is that they know how to publicize, they know how to make a stir, and they know how to communicate a message to the point where people can believe it.
It's the party.
Mhm.
That's not the individual.
Well,
Actually, I
but
think Donald Trump is a big part of that.
Well, let's approach it from the idea of let's talk about what each one brings that's positives. Let's look at what the biggest gap is that weakens their position, and let's just talk about that from. I don't want to rip Trump apart. I don't want to rip Biden apart. I want to talk about what we can expect or what we think we might be expecting, what will be the positives. I personally have a huge issue with female rights being taken down to nothing. But there
Mhm.
are a lot of things that the Republican Party has done good as a whole for the country. On the other hand, there's a lot of things about the Democrats. I'm like, oh crap, But so I
Well,
want to just
I do want to make this request. By next week, read Project 2025.
I have already done that. That's kind of what provoked this today. And also, I was at a social situation, where I was in a room where I didn't agree with anybody in the room, and that's all they would talk about. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting to talk at all.
Yeah.
I know y'all think I talk too much here, but I don't get to talk in other venues because I refuse to talk about spiritual things and politics and religion in social venues. I just do. And so I never get to talk about anything. So,
There's
um,
always that one person that says they're right, regardless, and they want you to agree with them because they're right. And that's not how you learn.
mm-mm.
You
So,
learn by having a positive, just like you said, what are the pros? What are the cons? What are the things that are happening? That's how you get
and we're not
forward.
going to solve anything and we're not going to
No,
win anything. It's just that we can get it out there and get it. I just want to get it out of my system. That's all. And I know at least two people heard me. So,
Oh, I got it. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, you know. I
yeah.
don't th I'm not going to debate anyone here as far as like what their beliefs and what they want to see happen or anything like that, but I'll bring the pros and cons. I'm at least, I think, intelligent enough to be able to step back and kind of step beyond some of the biases I have. Okay. Because, like I just said, I am not Republican. Okay. But I can see the stuff that the Republican Party does very well.
well, and Project 2025 is horrific. It's horrifying. It's scary as shit. But my thing is that how would they be able to initiate that since we do have a House and a Senate and they have to vote these things through? So how is that going to happen? So it's not just a presidential issue, it is a political issue.
But, Deborah, it's not necessarily new legislation that's coming in, it's legislation that has already been laid down.
But it hasn't been passed yet. And that's what I keep trying to remind people. It's not passed yet. So get your people to vote right. Get them
But
to
here's the
vote.
thing, the stuff that is being dealt with right now, okay, has precedence in the courts.
Yes.
It's past legislation. That's how they're dismantling the system, so to speak.
Well, No, I'm not going to say that right now. I'm not. I do think that we're going down a very scary road right now,
Yeah.
Right.
but we have survived.
Honestly, I think it's scary for both sides.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? Okay, I will say this and then we're going to stop. I don't believe in karma. I believe in consequences of decisions. And we made a decision to honor the Southern generals after they lost the Civil War. And we, Lincoln and all of them, made a decision that we were going to repair this country by being kind to the South. This is the only time in the history of the world that I'm aware of where the losers got to continue flying their flags and honoring their war heroes after they lost the war. And I
Mhm.
think this is a huge repercussion of that attitude. I
Well,
said it.
I get upset when people say, well, my congressman didn't do this or didn't do that. And I said, then why do you keep voting for him?
Exactly. And people, the South is not going to rise again because it
No.
never rose. It fell sadly on its face. And you need to figure out why and what caused that problem. So, with that said, Luann, tell them who you are and where they can find you.
Oh, Luann Morris, and I am Ancient Herbal Apothecary. And you can find my website at ancient earth
Somewhere.
ancientherbalapothecary.com. Or you can email me at Luann, Luann, at ancientherbalapothecary.com.
Yeah. And, shameless plug. Okay. I have this on my desk. This is from Ancient Herbal Apothecary. Okay. I love this stuff as far as like chapstick. Okay. I love this stuff.
Well, that's my formula, but that's not my new, it's not my new
And it's
label.
No,
perfect
it's
for
not your
us.
new label. It's not your new label, but the thing is, I love this. I love the
These are
product.
my new labels are all black and white, very clean. Uh, Matthew did this logo for me.
I
It
like
looks
it.
great. I
I
mean,
like it.
your products are awesome. I mean, so I can't speak highly enough of them. They're amazing.
I like it. All right, Dr. Pierce, where the hell are you?
You can get a hold of me at matthewapierce.com. That's my website. And you can do Matthew at Matthew A. Pierce. I also have Connections Design Studios. And you can email me there, Matthew at connectionsdesignstudios.com.
All right. And I am Deborah Collin Rose. I am not the leader of this group. I am the renegade of the group, though. And Miles of Smiles Events is our sponsor, and we do intuitive entertainment, fortune tellers, extraordinaire, kiss readings, and we use Luann's chapstick so that everything's kissable. We do handwriting analysis and anything that you need, we can come up with it because we are very good at coming up with great ideas. I also have a private investigation company, Investigative Solution Groups, Unlimited, ISGU.com, ISGU, as I was named on the radio years ago, ISGU. Um, and tomorrow, just so y'all know, we will be meeting because Miles of Smiles Events will have a booth for the second year in a row at Party Fest. Next month, you need to come out and see us and see all the different vendors that we have that plan gigs and all kinds of drinks and party gear and all this good stuff. And hopefully, we'll come up with something cool to show y'all from our booth tomorrow. So stay tuned. And is that it? Oh, DeborahColleenRose.com is my spiritual coaching and handwriting analysis site as well. Good Lord, aren't we the most diversified group of people you've ever seen in your life?
Yes.
Hey, I
Yes,
think it's wonderful.
I do too. I do too. And none of us are retiring anytime soon. So, all right. So we're talking again. Watch out. And boy, it's going to be a doozy next week, isn't it? So y'all
Yes.
stay tuned. Y'all
Bye
say
now.
bye.
Bye.